What is already presented here, back with another Honkai style guide, and with Aglaea just being a few days away, today I want to be bringing you some of the best teammates I recommend you to prepare for her. This video is not going to be in any particular order, so one is not going to be better than the other in my opinion, although it is pretty clear when one will be better than the other. There are two specific supports that will pretty much gap any other option you would have. But that does not mean the other options are going to be necessarily bad in any sense, but rather are just options if you are already using one of these units existing on a different team, or if you may not have them and are preparing to get them on a rerun. This video will also only be incentivizing the proper role of Aglaea being a pure hyper carry, so the only main DPS on the team, so definitely keep that in mind. Before I get into the video, if you guys found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this along with all other types of Star Wars content. Check the description to check out my second channel and also to join the Discord, and let's get straight into it. So first I wanted to be starting it off with the no-brainer that is easily going to be your best teammate far and none, and that is none other than Sunday himself. As Sunday is the harmony support for summon characters, Aglaea with her Memorable Sprite being a summon character and Sunday being able to action advance the actual summon themselves as well, and the way he works is very powerful. He's able to further provide buffs to characters that do have summons, so Aglaea with their Memorable Sprite does count for that. And so Aglaea is able to make full use of the maximum buffs that Sunday can provide. The extra action Sunday provides is going to be super broken for more turns and more energy gain. Aglaea is able to gain the full damage effect thanks to also having a summon through the skill that Sunday does have, giving up to an 80% increase to damage dealt at E0, which is absolutely absurd for one character alone. And then when we do take a look at his ultimate, the massive crit damage buff is going to be great, as you are sacrificing some crit damage in Aglaea's base build in order to gain the right amount of speed, as Aglaea does need a good amount of speed, so you will need to sacrifice a decent amount of crit damage, and Sunday thankfully is able to make up for that thanks to his crit damage buff being relatively high. On top of that, Sunday does also regenerate 20% of max energy for that designated ally you buff, and Aglaea is a very high ultimate requirement, and so this is going to extremely help you with your rotations to get Aglaea all as fast as possible. And not only that, thanks to his talent, he's also able to give the person you do buff with the skill, in this case would be Aglaea, an additional 20% crit rate, which is a very high increase to crit rate, helping you be that much more consistent, and also makes up for the lack of crit rate you may have in your build. And thanks to all the buffs he provides, he's going to amplify your Aglaea to hit so much harder. The extra turn is going to have you have so much more output, especially when Aglaea is in the ultimate, so getting multiple more turns thanks to Sunday's action advance. He's going to be undisputed for Aglaea as the best teammate, and is going to be far and none the best option you can prepare. One of the next best options is actually going to be Sunday's sister, being Robin. Similar to Sunday, all the buffs that Robin does provide is going to be super beneficial to Aglaea herself. The skill providing a big 50% damage dealt increase for everyone is going to be great. On top of that, she does have a form of action forward, as in her ultimate she gives everyone a turn, so if you are tuning correctly, you can have a rotation where if you are running someone like Sunday on the team or another action forward giving character, you can have your stuff go, Robin pops ult, Aglaea gets a turn to attack, and then the support you would be giving Aglaea another turn with would get another action to get another action, so you're getting up to multiple actions in that turn that you are doing this, which is going to be insane. On top of that, in the ultimate, Robin provides a massive attack buff, which is going to be great for Aglaea, as she does want a good amount of attack, and so Robin's buff is going to help so much with that. And the additional physical damage Robin does deal in her ultimate is going to be super good at helping you wiggle down enemies if you're not able to kill, to avoid times where enemies may live with a little bit of HP and help you kill them even faster, so that's going to be great. On top of that, her talent provides everyone a free 20% crit damage, so that's not only going to be good for Aglaea herself, but if you are running someone that is an action forward giving character, so namely Sunday, that's going to give them more crit damage to increase their crit damage buff that they do give to Aglaea, so that's going to be another big thing to consider. And Robin is super easy to set up thanks to the fact that she can get a 25% action advance in the beginning of the battle, so you practically pop the skill, and then throughout the time you get the ultimate as fast as possible by having others attack as much as you can. And since Aglaea attacks so much, you can supercharge Robin so fast as Robin gains energy for everyone else attacking or getting an action, so that's going to be a great thing with Aglaea. And then again, the buffs that Robin provides is just so goddamn good for Aglaea, making her one of the other best options you can use. Now those are practically the two you can argue for being the best ones undisputedly. The next three before I talk about sustains is going to be up to you. One can be better than the other in certain scenarios, the other can be better than the other. Very much depends on the situation and the tunings you do have in your team. But another fantastic option that is also free to play is going to be Remembrance Trailblazer. The buffs and support that Remembrance Trailblazer can provide to Aglaea is actually extremely beneficial, with not only giving the team crit damage based off Remembrance Trailblazer's own crit damage, but also the fact that the Memo Sprite, once you do have the full charge, can give Aglaea another turn, and in specific tunings that can help a lot whether you're in or outside of ultimate, because if you're outside of ultimate, another turn means you can get more energy back, and if you're in ultimate, you can gain that much more energy as well, and also do that much more damage. Both those super fantastic, but that's not the best part, but it's mainly for the fact that now every instance of damage you do pop on someone once you do give them the action advance, so in this case you'd give Aglaea the action advance, give them mem support. Now every instance of damage Aglaea does deal will deal an additional instance of true damage, and since Aglaea attacks so much, you're going to get a bunch of true damage procs, which is going to add up to a lot more damage than you would do regularly. And that's the main selling point of Remembrance Trailblazer. Being able to attack so much with Aglaea is going to help you proc the true damage by a bunch of times. And for that sole reason, Remembrance Trailblazer is already good. The fact that the Remembrance Trailblazer can also buff crit damage and also give a full turn is a big additive bonus. But the true damage enable is the main selling point. And on top of that, since the Remembrance Trailblazer is a free E6, the E1 can help you provide further crit rate for the ally you do buff with mem support. And the rest of the dupes will help with Remembrance Trailblazer's own personal gains, and also provides a means to increase the true damage you can deal thanks to the E4. Overall, with all this in mind, Remembrance Trailblazer is a fantastic and also a great free-to-play option you can use with Aglaea. Another really good option is actually Bronya. Bronya is also able to give Aglaea a full turn just like Sunday can, but the only difference is you cannot action advance the summon like Sunday can, and if a character does have a summon, Sunday's damage dealt buff in the skill is higher than Bronya's, but Bronya's is still very high. And once you are in ultimate with Aglaea, you're not really needing to advance the summon to get another turn. It's very helpful, but it's not as much needed as getting Aglaea herself to attack. On top of that, not only does Bronya give everyone crit damage on the team, but also gives everyone attack as well. So that's another fantastic thing you should consider. And again, the buffs that Bronya is providing to Aglaea are all beneficial: the attack, the crit damage, the extra turn, the damage dealt. Only issue with Bronya is skill points, but as Aglaea uses enhanced basic attack, so basic attack stuff, rather than using skill and consuming skill points, you will have a lot of skill points left over, which allows Bronya to really shine on this team, thanks to the fact she's able to eat the skill points you'll be generating with Aglaea anyways. And since Bronya is a standard character, if you do have the off chance of having E2 Bronya, you are now giving your Aglaea 30% speed for one turn, and so that's going to be a fantastic increase to Aglaea's performance as well, helping you hit higher thresholds and such. So the E2, if you do have that, and she is a standard character, so it's a lot more accessible as opposed to a limited one, is going to make Bronya that much more valuable. She may not be out Sunday and Robin even at E2, but that does not mean by any means Bronya is weak, especially with E2, and even without E2, she is a fantastic option you can use with Aglaea, so is an option that is definitely worth considering. And the last teammate I want to talk about that is going to be pretty good with Aglaea is Ting Yun. Ting Yun is able to provide a massive increase to attack to Aglaea based off her own attack, and also deal lightning damage when the ally, in this case with Aglaea, that does have Benediction, which is a skill, would attack. It's only one extra hit, so it's not really going to equate to too much, but can be helpful in some situations. So that's a really nice thing to do. But the main point is the fact that the ultimate regenerates 50 energy for a single ally, and also increases her damage by 50% for a whole 2 turns. As I already mentioned, Aglaea has a very big ultimate requirement, and if you don't have Sunday or a stain I'm about to talk about right after this, it's gonna be a bit difficult, especially if you don't have something like the E1 either. So Ting Yun providing you a massive 50 energy is going to be very helpful as well. And since she's a 4-star, a lot of her dupes are very accessible, and a lot of players could have her E6 by now. Her E1 is super good, because when Ting Yun does use her ultimate, the ally with Benediction will gain 20% increase to speed for a turn, so that's gonna be fantastic for Aglaea. On top of that, the ally with Benediction will regenerate 5 energy after defeating an enemy thanks to her E2. Her E4 will increase the damage multiplier provided by Benediction by 20%, so that's even more damage. And then finally, her E6 provides 10 more energy for that target ally that you do use the ultimate on, giving you up to 60 energy instead, so just that much better. So Ting Yun is a fantastic 4-star option you can use with Aglaea. Now I'm finally talking about the sustain portions. So there is one very much better than any other option you can use. There's another one that I'm going to mention for a less touched upon reason, but I will still bring it to light. And then the rest kind of just becomes on using whatever you have. But the far and none best one you do want to prepare to use is going to be Huohuo. Huohuo's healing is super good. She also is able to dispel debuffs, so that's great, but it's mainly for her ultimate providing such a crucial buff for Aglaea. With Huohuo's ultimate, she's able to provide 20% increase to everyone's max energy on the team, and also increase their attack by 40%, which is such a fantastic buff for Aglaea. 20% energy alone is already great. On top of that, gaining 40% attack is just such a good buff. So not only is Huohuo healing really good, but she's also providing you with two very broken buffs with her ultimate, which is also going to help you accelerate gains if you are running other characters. Like the best team for Aglaea is going to be Sunday, Robin, Huohuo. So if you have Robin on the team, or if you're running some other reiteration, the energy is going to help with them so much too. So if they ever lose the ultimate, or Robin exits the concerto state, this is going to help so much with that as well. And then again, 40% attack is going to mainly be for Aglaea. She's the hyper carry, and that's going to be such a great buff to have as well. And that with the fact that she's able to heal so good already, and you have this insanely good sustain meant for Aglaea, and overall is going to be the best option you can use with her. Another great option I did want to actually mention is Aventurine. So not only, as we already know, Aventurine as practically having this shield that's just absolutely insane, you practically can never break it. He also has a debuff in the ultimate. When he does hit an enemy with that ultimate, it will inflict them with unnerved, making that enemy take 15% increased crit damage. So that's going to be helpful for Aglaea doing more damage as well. So you pretty much put that on the boss, and then you have Aglaea focus that boss and shred them down, or lead enemy or whatever you're attacking. But I mainly wanted to be talking about the potential of Aventurine as a sub DPS. As we know, Aventurine is fantastic as a sustain, not only for his shield but also his sub DPS potential. A proper build Aventurine with the right stats and built with the sub DPS in mind can do a good amount of damage even at E0. And thanks to the additions of memo sprites being on the team and on the field, Aventurine is able to gain another stack thanks to the memo sprite being on the field. Previously, Aventurine was only able to gain a total of 5 blind bet stacks for his follow-up attack because it would hit the 3 allies you do have, so that's going to give you 3, and then it was going to give you an extra 2 since once you hit Aventurine he gets an extra 1, so it gave you up to 5. But now with the memo sprite on the field, if someone does an AoE and hits everyone on the field, including just again everyone and the memo sprite, that's going to give Aventurine 6 whole stacks, allowing you to follow up attack that much quicker and that much easier. A lot of bosses have AoE attacks nowadays. A lot of the ones coming up are going to have a lot of AoE attacks, so Aventurine is constantly going to be able to have the AoE hit, tank it, follow up attack, do good damage, and also refresh your shield by a bit. And he's going to be able to do that continuously and continuously and continuously. So not only is he going to be fantastic in helping you stay alive with this really good shield, not only is he going to be giving you the 15% unnerve for crit damage dealt, but he's also going to be able to get a bunch of sub DPS potential now, especially with the memo sprite on the field, which is going to help wiggle down enemies that much faster, making him another fantastic option. Now past those two, it's practically just whatever you do have is the best option. You know, obviously the better sustains are going to be the ones that are more high in meta, so Feixiao or Gallagher. I'm not going to talk too much about the rest because this video is mainly prepare these units because they're going to be so much better to use as opposed to others. So past Huohuo and Aventurine, I don't really want to talk about too much more, but the debuff that Feixiao and Gallagher can provide plus their ways of healing is very helpful, so they're great options to do. But I'm not going to get too much on that because they're not too much special as opposed to running someone like Bushwan or Luocha instead as well. But yeah, that is the video. That is the teammates you want to be looking out to prepare for Aglaea. Again, no particular order. The only ones that are at the very top is going to be Sunday, Robin, and then Huohuo. Those are the ones that are clear and cut the best options and the best team you can use. Rest is mainly for options of people that are missing one of the others, or they're already using one of the other on another team. Let's say Robin's already on the follow-up team, so instead you're going to put Remembrance Trailblazer instead of Robin. Let's say Huohuo was already on one of your other teams, such as like a dot team, or whatever you're using, then you can go ahead and sub Aventurine in there, or whatever better sustain you do have in that case. That's really the point of the video. But again, if you guys found this video helpful, drop a like, would be greatly appreciated. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell for future videos like this along with all other types of star content. Once again, hope you found the video helpful. Peace out.